Hello traders, hello everyone. Welcome in the advanced room here at Live Education with XM, and we are starting another session. This one will be with me and Frank Zolida. We're gonna discuss markets. Gonna discuss markets end of December, last 2 weeks of December, not even full 2 weeks of December. Like let's say 2 weeks of December left. Um, and markets are in quite interesting spot. Like um, dollar is in retreat, gold is quite high, US stock market all-time high, Bitcoin rallying, or at least it was rallying last time I checked, and it's also like record high, this year's high, right? Trying to get to last year's high. Quite, recovered quite a lot from 2020 drop. um, thinking about where this is leading us, where this is taking us, and how to position towards that, how to position towards the end of the year and the first week of January, because like trading this week, trading next week, like there could be some trading ideas maybe when everybody will be with their head in the new year season. uh, there might be some interesting trades or some interesting moves happening. This is my thesis, my hypothesis. I'm going to be looking for confirmations of it. How are you doing, Frank? Hello, and what are you looking for in this uh, quite particular, quite specific period of time?
Yeah, hey Martin. Hello traders. Good afternoon or good day to everyone as well from my side here. Doing good actually. Thanks a lot for asking. And I mean, you summarized the picture pretty nicely. Dollar in retreat, British pound potentially strong, euro potentially stronger. Stock market still strong at this very moment. I mean, we had a lot of all-time highs in the stock markets in the last couple of days. Many people talk about stock markets over-evaluated as much as never before. The question is always what is over-evaluated, when is something over-evaluated, and when is the right time to that it might retrace. This is at the moment, I have to say, really interesting because we have as well, we kind of have as well a new period of time starting. Fed was pretty much dovish, is leading like the central banks more or less into kind of a cycle of releasing interest rates. I think this party could go on further. I think there can be as well expected potentially really nice movements against the dollar, like dollar might be weakening because of the dovish Fed. And I'm not so sure if the stock markets are coming back fast. But of course, with markets so high, there is always a little bit of a risk, midterm on when you look a little bit into the future, that we see a bigger retracement, for example, happening. And same is of course true for gold. We also had here a big rally. Same is true for the cryptos. But I think not necessarily a paradigm change in terms of like if we go in retracements that we are seeing like immediately returning or reversing trends. I think it's just then the normal breathing of the market, putting a little bit of weight of itself to create new interest in the markets, and then we might see another rallies coming. I think stock markets at the moment, they could still go into the January like this. I think even we could still see the first 2 weeks in January still pretty okay. Then I would expect a little bit of a retracement coming. So if I'm having the path in mind where the stock markets could go, and then maybe a shaky Q1. And then we will have to see, because then slowly as well starts all the election things in the United States playing into the markets as well. Yeah, but I think I'm pretty much like at the moment pretty much optimistic. Even even the political times, whatever, is not so optimistic. But the markets, they are very much optimistic at this very moment. Question is just if we are too optimistic.
This is extremely interesting because in July we were like, okay, market is 20% up on a year. It's so bullish, right?
Yeah.
And now we are entering the last period of the year and we are 25% up.
Mm.
It's it's sort of crazy if you think about it, like there is no QE, but probably that's the QE aftermath, right? So we still have
Mm.
money from QE filling the system, saturating the system, the financial system. Although that money should have been invested in repo, in okay, so bond market had a sell-off, so maybe that's the bond money. That's the bond market money. They went out of the bonds, and now trying to get anywhere. So maybe that's the part, right? But I'm having this idea that this could calm down. Maybe beginning of January could start coming down, like 2022 started. It was almost going up from the first day, right? Going down almost from the first day. Um, while on the from the first week, and on the last week of the year of 2021, we still had it bullish. We made new all-time high, on the last week of 2021, and boom, out of a sudden, first week of January
Yeah.
already bearish, and we were only bearish since then, throughout the 2022, right? So if I'm thinking about 2024, this analogy kind of sticks, but I'm also, having this idea, if the market wants to surprise us, it may surprise us with moving higher and higher without stopping. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be surprising. Like if it starts dropping, I don't know, next week or first week of January, I think it wouldn't surprise that many people compared to if it continues going up in a straight line. Imagine another 5% um, up, like that would be 5,000 level, right? 5.3% from current market. So I'm thinking also about this possibility. Of course, it's one possibility that it comes down, although it feels extremely obvious, right? I think like 20 million traders are waiting for it to come down.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't surprise anybody, right? If the market wants to surprise us, I think it should go up another 5% in a straight line. Um, that
And
would be crazy, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, you mentioned some important days as well, and that you mentioned the first days of the year, and actually there is even like a seasonal pattern on the first 5 trading days. That depending on the first 5 trading days are ending in the new year. This is giving you like a forecast. Like how the year will end. So if the first 5 trading days ending positive, the statistics say that in most of the cases the year ends as well positive, and if the first 5 days of the year are negative, then we have a very difficult year in front of us. And
it,
there is
it
an
feels
interest.
like it feels like if there was a small village isolated from the rest of the world, and there are some people living, and they are like having no research, no science, only some basic
Yeah.
observations, and many things they can't really explain. So they are like creating those beliefs, okay, if you see three black cats, probably you will have bad day or bad week, like it sounds like a little bit like a superstition. Oh yeah, this is the word. But yeah.
It's really like an excellent it sounds really weird, but on the other hand, look, it's the stock market, right? It's like a stock market in, if we're talking stock markets, we know that stocks are usually growing, right? So it's not so complicated to put up such a strategy, probably. because
You don't have to be a fortune teller to
yes,
predict market
exactly.
growing, right?
I just wanted to say, but interesting is really like this, that if the first 5 days are not possible, are not profitable, and then the year gets difficult. And
So
by
it's
the
like a
way,
black cat.
yeah, exactly. And by the way, let's say a big hello to our YouTube viewers as well, because we are at the moment as well broadcasting here on the YouTube channel. And guys, if you want to see us for the whole hour, don't forget as well to switch then to our XM Global website, to that you can follow the whole session. And
And
yeah, so
and
greetings from
already
us.
Hadra Ali is here with us on YouTube. So hello and welcome. And guys, also feel free to join our chat on the website on
Yeah,
xm.com live. We are also there. So you can chat with us. Like it doesn't have to be just the two of us talking. It could be also you joining the conversation through the chat section.
exactly. 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 Yeah. So, but this is really an interest. I just wanted, when you mentioned the first half or the first weeks of January, like coming down, it came in my mind because I was I think 1 or 2 years reading about this strategy, and it was really surprisingly had really a surprisingly great hit rate. And even, and that's maybe the most surprising thing, is uh, it's rather like a kind of an investment strategy, I would say. It really made a difference if you are not invested, if the first 5 trading days ending with a negative performance in the for example in the German DAX, that you don't invest in the German DAX that in this year. It really improved the performance quite a bit. But just a side note from me.
Well,
um,
that's kind of following US market,
yeah,
but I'm looking at first few weeks. First few weeks not necessarily have to be, indicative for the rest of the year on the DAX. They could be like this year they have been, but previous years we had a little bit of this sort of like a shaky up and down, and only then after 5 weeks they were choosing the direction. I'm also thinking like, okay, after 5 weeks, go with the direction of the sixth week, or toss a coin and buy or sell, and you may be having the trade of the year, perhaps, or half of the year. I mean, should we cut DAX in half and trade first half separately, second half of the year separately?
there's also an interesting statistic about that. I just don't know if I'm getting it now straight together. I think the best is to, if you split, for example, I mean, I think we cannot do this here on the CFDs because we don't have, for example, the MDAX. The MDAX is like the small. It's like the medium-sized companies in Germany. It's like said that it in the first 9 months, it's better to be positioned in the MDAX and then switching in the last quarter from the MDAX to the DAX. And this is actually like quite an interesting thing. Um, but we don't have the MDAX, so this is for the other indexes. I'm not aware of. There would be something like this, but definitely, what is the DAX is usually doing a better performance in the last quarter of the year than throughout the year, actually. So this is what you can maybe take from this comment. But how to replace it in the first half year, or in the first like 3 quarters of the year, there we would have to find a better opportunity, because the MDAX, of course, we don't have here as a CFD at XM, but maybe we can find there another asset which performs in the first half much better than the DAX, for example.
How come German economy is having troubles and DAX is at all-time highs? I mean, it almost feels like I want to sell it. I want to say, no, 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 market, you are wrong. And of course, the market can be wrong longer than
Yeah.
I stay solvent, but it feels like that. It feels totally awkward. Like how is it possible? Maybe German economy is not that bad. Maybe those largest companies are not doing so bad. Maybe energy prices are actually um, much lower now than in 2021 and 2022.
Mm.
Maybe, we are back to normal with German economy. It's just they keep complaining. Maybe government will give them some more money. Maybe that's a PR tactic to be complaining.